ancient Isle of Man, famous for its kippers and motorcycle TT races, is the venue for the 50th anniversary running of the International 6 Days Trial. It will be the third time the island has hosted the ISDT. Previous 6 days were in 65 and 71, with the 65 being a very memorable event, when the East Germans were the only team to finish intact after storms buffeted the island during the event. The 50th will be another special ISDT, with scoring changes and a major upset. All the cycles and equipment the competitors will use during the 50th must arrive by ferry boat from Liverpool. Penton will again field the U.S. trophy team effort, with U.S. cross-country stars Tom and Jack Penton, Carl Crank, Dane Leimbach, Danny Young, and Eric Jensen, all past ISDT medal winners. This year, the Penton sports cycles will prove super competitive, and the riders will come through with some incredible performances, but the team will suffer its worst setback in 6-day competition. The Parc Fermé is located in Douglas, the island's largest town, at the famous 37-mile TT road race course start. 300 gold medal hopefuls go through the check-in procedure run by the British Autocycle Union, who is hosting the event. Great Britain, at one time an ISDT power, has not won the trophy since 1951. They have, however, more trophy victories in the 50 years running of the ISDT than any other country, with 16 world trophies. The sun has not yet risen when the first riders begin claiming their cycles from the paddock. The mornings are very cool, as the event is taking place in October, a month later than normal. The Isle of Man is about 15 by 30 miles in size, with low mountains on the north side. The terrain is made up of mountain pastures, small farmers' fields, and mud and rock. The heather-covered mountains with their bogs and the stone-covered beaches also add to the constantly changing terrain. The course for the run is laid out in 3 separate loops of the island, each run in a different direction each day. The most hazardous of terrain turned out to be the narrow island roads. In England, everybody drives on the left side of the road. 90% of the competitors are used to driving on the right side. The first day, numerous car-cycle accidents forced the island officials to demand the competitors slow down their speed on the roads or have the event halted. For the U.S., the first day was indeed a disaster. For the first time in ISDT history, a competitor was fatally injured while competing, U.S. rider Bren Moran. The U.S. trophy team also suffered a severe setback when Tom Penton's machine burst into flames before the first check of the day, forcing him out. That first day, the U.S. competitors were dazed as they suffered through a relatively easy day. U.S. rider Jeff Gerber smashed his cycle under a moving cement truck. He was very lucky to escape uninjured, but the machine was damaged beyond repair. It was a very, very sad day for the U.S., but we weren't the only ones to have big first-day problems. What the competitors feared most about the island did happen on the 4th day. the weather turned foul with rain and fog. The fourth day was also the mountain route. That meant blinding fog in the mountains that makes finding one's way over the monotonous heather almost impossible. Combine that with the mud and the seemingly endless miles of one-track fence rows that sap a rider's strength, and you can understand why almost half the competitors were eliminated in the next 2 days, and over 2/3 lost their gold medals. Only the best and seasoned 6-day rider can keep on time and keep his equipment running in such conditions. And the fourth day is always considered the toughest for first-time competitors, as they begin losing initiative and the length begins grinding them and their cycles down. This is where the 6 days competition is won or lost, the special tests. Held for 5 days, riders try to set the fastest times as possible on the motocross and acceleration tests. It was here on the first day that the unbeatable Czechoslovakian trophy team would meet their Waterloo. Their finest rider, Masita, broke a chain in the middle of the course and sent their team skidding to the bottom. But it was only one of the many bad luck breaks for the Czechs. Their Vaz team also suffered the first day when a rider mistakenly went through a check 15 minutes early, then realizing his mistake, rechecked through on the correct minute, but was disqualified. Also, Czech trophy man Zlak had to push his cycle for 3 miles after running out of gas in the motocross test later in the week. Wolfgruber, Neumann, Weber, Witthoff, Griss, and Howe, the West German superstars, vaulted their team into a not-to-be-touched lead on their factory Zundaps. The West German team had been in the shadow of the Czechoslovakians for 5 years, and this was the only break they needed. They would take top team honors every single day. For the West German riders, it was a long, hard road to victory. Italy was also showing its ISDT prowess. The Italian 4-man Vaz team, SWM mounted, took the lead on the 4th day and won the Silver Vaz for the 4th time in 13 years. The Italian trophy team, Penton KTM mounted, took a hard-earned 2nd in the World Trophy competition. After the disastrous first day, the U.S. riders did bounce back. The U.S. trophy team kept to their schedule and finished their remaining 5 riders with 4 gold medals and 1 bronze. The U.S. Silver Vaz team with Don Cutler, Max Markowitz, Charlie Vincent, and Kevin Lavoie finished 3 of their riders and placed 4th in Vaz competition. All the Vaz team members had bad luck with the car cycle crashes and mechanical problems, but held to the finish to collect 2 silver and 1 bronze. Of the 51 U.S. competitors entered, 24 collected medals, with 8 U.S. riders distinguishing themselves with gold medal performances. Husqvarna mounted Malcolm Smith and Dick Burleson, and Penton mounted Jack Penton, Carl Crank, Dane Leimbach, Danny Young, Rod Bush, and Gary Youngkins. The 6 days rules were drastically altered for the 50th ISDT. For the first time, route marks were dropped and made into penalty points. For every minute late at a check, 60 points are added to a rider's score. It allows a rider who may have lost 1 or 2 route marks but received very fast special test times to retain his gold medal performance. Now, all points a rider accumulates during the event in special tests, penalty points, and late points are totaled, and a gold medal is won by being within 15% of the top scorers in your class. A silver is awarded for being within 25%, and a bronze for finishing the event within the hour time limit. It allows for more competitive team competition, where a very fast team could be at the end of the results with 1 or 2 route marks lost in the old system, and a very slow, uncompetitive team at the top without any route marks lost. It does, however, take the edge off consistency and place it more firmly into a speed event. On Friday, the weather broke and the warm sun came through the fog to give the remaining competitors a break for the final 2 days of trail and special tests, like the acceleration and sound tests that took place every day. It set the scene for the final 6-day event, the masked road race. And what a race it was for the 2 U.S. trophy riders Carl Crank and Jack Penton. With over 6 days of hard riding on their Pentons, they held them wide open and raced around the twisting course with knobby tires hitting speeds of over 100 miles an hour to win the 350cc class for Carl and second in the 250cc class for Jack, just a fraction behind fellow Penton KTM rider Alexandro Gritti. The victorious West German trophy team took 3 of their riders in unison over the finish line in the 100cc class to show the total domination of the Zundap riders in winning the world trophy for the first time since 1968. Even if the Czechoslovakians hadn't a problem, I doubt very much if they could have overcome the red-hot West Germans who rode a perfect 6 days and truly deserved the world trophy they won. For the competitors, the 6 days is over for this year, and successes and failures will be carefully analyzed over the next year to capitalize on. Competitors like Carl Crank, who crashed hard the 3rd day and rode with a mild concussion and partially blind in one eye for 2 days, still retaining his gold medal, shows the determination a rider has for the 6 days event. Young Jack Penton, who rode to 7th overall in the trials, showed that the U.S. riders can put winners into the European-dominated sport. Heino Bussi of West Germany rode his Penton KTM to individual overall victory and placed the Penton KTM sport cycles on the same footing with the Zundaps and Jawas. It's the whole spirit that brings cyclists from all over the world once a year to test themselves and their machines in the most grueling of events, the International 6 Days Trial.